I was born in Poland, in Warsaw, in fact, in one of the streets that subsequently became the Warsaw Ghetto. My families are of two different strains of Judaism. My mom was an Ashkenazi and my father was a Sephardi. And we had a very large presence in Poland, going back on my father's side to the Spanish Inquisition. In 1935, soon after the Nuremberg laws that were imposed on Jewish people, my father thinks that being in Białystok is much more conducive to stay away from the Nazis. So he travels to Białystok soon after my birth to see whether he can start a business in Białystok. This is where the war catches him, so he sends a messenger with a note to my mom asking her to leave Warsaw and bring the children to Białystok. She gets to the border and organizes a river crossing, and she had to make sure that I don't cry. And what she did was kept chocolate to my mouth, which secured my silence. And we crossed the river uneventfully, only to be stopped by a young Russian soldier pointing the gun at my mom. She gets out of the boat, plunges herself on the riverbank, and refuses to take the order. The young man, not wanting to kill a woman with a baby, she pulls out the note. The officer in charge allows her to proceed with the rest of her trip and told her to get lost. And she boards a train and she gets to the address. We became reunited as a family of four. Seeing that the war will be imminent, my father puts his name down on a list as an electrician. Well, electrician, he is not. He's a handbag maker. But he lies about his profession because he knows that he will be taken out of Białystok with his family, a place called Zlatoust in Siberia. That was the town in which we found our safe haven, where we lived through the war years. A room that was 5 by 6 became the place we lived. Living in those dormitory accommodation was a challenge. I remember as a boy hunger. I remember starving. My sister was born in 1942 in February, and we became a family of 5. My mom coined a name for her, the sunshine in Siberia. There was hardly any sunshine there, but the reason was the fact that we were given additional coupons, so we received more milk, butter, and cheese, and there was suddenly more nutrition for the family to share. So these are the things that were part of our hardships in Siberia. We had a speaker attached to the wall, constant Soviet communist-style propaganda.
Сегодня мы празднуем великую победу над германским фашизмом.
No news dispatches. My parents never knew what was going on in Poland or in the rest of Europe. Once the war ended, I was 6.5 years of age, And we soon found out that Warsaw was in ruins. International agencies were creating those listings of survivors. And this is where we found out that not a single name from our family was on those lists. We suddenly discovered that we were the only survivors from a very long and large existence of our families living in Poland. As I was growing up, I occasionally would attach myself to another Jewish friend of my parents, and I would call them uncle. That was the only way I could substitute my own family. We arrived at Woolloomooloo on the 26th of November of 1960 because of the Jewish Welfare Society, and within 1 year we managed to save enough money to have a deposit for a home in Greenwich. And a few days later our neighbors come across to welcome us with a plate of Anzac Biscuits. When they came, I didn't think very much of that gesture. It only dawned to me much later that this was a gesture of acceptance. That became the signature, if you like, of life that we enjoyed here in Australia.